What's going on guys, I hope you're all well. In today's video I'll be taking a look at 4 of the most popular Joy-Con charging docks on Amazon. I'll be going through each in detail, so please do stick around. Timestamps are in the description as always. Let's get into it. The first charging dock is a bit of a novelty one. Instead of the regular LED indicators to show the charging status, it has these acrylic columns that will reflect either a red or green light. I'll show this later on, but before that let's look at everything you get in the box. First we have the Joy-Con charging dock itself. The finish on the base is piano black, making it a fingerprint magnet. I would have preferred a matte black finish, but I can live with this. At the front of the charging dock we have the King Top text. The bottom has a rubber finish, so it shouldn't slide around. Then at the back we have the USB-C charging port. In this shot you can see just how many fingerprints the finish has accumulated in the short time I've handled it. The top portion of the dock is made up of these clear plastic columns, and the charging ports for the Joy-Cons are at the bottom. The Joy-Cons do wobble a little bit once they're on there, and this is because of how short the charging port area is. When the charging dock is plugged in and no Joy-Cons are connected, the clear columns will light up green. Once you connect the Joy-Cons, the light will change to red if they need charging. The columns are just reflecting the light, as the colour is not really visible when viewed directly. Taking the Joy-Cons off the dock is fairly painless, as the ports themselves are what I describe as soft. This only holds true if you have all 4 of the ports filled. If however you only have 2 Joy-Cons and you try to take one of them off, you'll end up lifting the whole dock. In these cases you'll need to hold down the dock and pull. Not a major concern, as I imagine most people investing in this dock will have at least 4 Joy-Cons. I'd consider this charger to be more of a novelty or decorative piece, and it certainly looks the part. It fits in perfectly on my wall shelf, and the clear columns do look good, all lit up in low light conditions. The second Joy-Con dock is from PowerA, and looking at the box, it's officially licensed by Nintendo. Inside the box you'll find the dock, and on first glance it appears there's no provided cable. The finish on this is what I like to describe as frosted satin, as it's not too shiny and it's definitely not matte. The finish does appear to combat fingerprints fairly well. If however your fingers are inordinately greasy, there will be some residue left behind. As I alluded to earlier, when you first open the box it appears that there is no provided cable. This is on purpose, as the cable is neatly tucked away at the bottom of the dock. The cable is only 70 cm long and cannot be removed, which is a shame, as it means the distance between the power source and the dock is limited and can't easily be extended. I do like that there's a space at the back the cable can be neatly tucked into. Because the charging slots are as tall as the Joy-Cons, they fit in very snugly and the wobble is non-existent. At the top of the dock we have the 4 LED status indicators. Very utilitarian and not as extravagant as the first charging dock. Removing the Joy-Cons from the official dock is more of a struggle compared to the first. You have to hold down the dock and pull with a little bit of force in order to remove them. For ease of access to the Joy-Cons, I'd have to deduct some points here. With both charging docks side by side, the official one is noticeably larger. I think I'll be keeping both of these, with the smaller one acting as decor more than anything else. The official Joy-Con dock fits in better with the Nintendo Switch dock in terms of looks, and it feels quite a bit sturdier compared to the first dock. The third Joy-Con is another unofficial one. It can charge your Joy-Cons and it has convenient slots for cartridge storage. Build quality wise it is pretty good, with a matte black finish. The inside is shiny, but it'll be hidden, so not really a problem. There's an on-off switch at the front and 4 charging ports. 3M tape on the far edge is present to secure it to the Switch dock. It connects directly to the bottom USB port on the Switch dock, so no external cable is required for power. The LED indicators are quite large and they'll switch between red and green depending on the charge. Placing the Joy-Cons on the charging ports, it was apparent that the ports are not as soft as the first dock I showcased. By this I mean you have to push a little harder to get the controllers in the charging state. I think this will get better with continual use, so no biggie. At the front or side of the charging dock we have the game cartridge slots. You can either place the cartridges horizontally or vertically depending on your preference. Either way you won't be able to see which game is in which slot, as most of the cartridge will be blocked. For this reason alone I'd forego using these slots for cartridge storage. Testing the wobble factor, I'd say the controllers are at their wobbliest, if that's a word, out of the 3 docks I've shown. You're probably not going to be moving your Switch dock with the controller dock at all, or very little, so it's not really an issue. I just thought I'd point it out for the sake of being thorough. Removing the Joy-Cons from the third dock is noticeably less smoother than the first dock. I've not secured the charging dock to the Switch dock, which is why it's being lifted up. but I'd imagine with continued use it'd put strain on the 3M tape and it would eventually come loose. The fourth and final dock is again an unofficial one. This time it's more of an angular piece with a red accent. Taking a closer look at the dock, it's again a matte finish all around, including the red accent. It would have been good to see a black accent, but you can always spray paint it. 3M tape again on the far edge to secure it to the switch dock. In addition to the charging station, we have a cartridge holder with a much larger capacity. I'll show you how this fits in soon, so stay tuned. Just like the previous dock, it connects directly to the bottom USB port on the switch dock. The cartridge holder has been designed to slot onto the back of the dock, just above the back plate, giving it more of an integrated look. With the cartridge holder, the slots are not very deep, which provides the advantage of being able to see, at least partly, which game is in which slot. The LED indicators will light up blue to indicate a fully charged Joy-Con, and red of course when they're charging. As was the case with the previous dock, it is a bit of a pain to remove the Joy-Cons as they are prone to getting stuck in the charging ports. I'm not sure if I've received a defective unit, but even if I secured the charging dock to the switch dock, with continual use the 3M tape's effectiveness would be drastically reduced. I'm sure once the ports have been broken in it'll get better, but as a first impression I'm not happy. I'll probably end up returning the last two charging docks as I just don't think they're quite there in terms of quality. They also make the switch dock look super bulky, and I'd rather have a bit of separation between the dock and the Joy-Con charger. It's personal preference at the end of the day. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be appreciated. Please consider subscribing if you want more techie content like this. I'm open to covering any tech item out there, so suggestions are welcome in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.